Welcome in. It is ATB at the buzzer. You've got rubber shoes in beautiful downtown Lowell with the shirt on. And now that I changed, the positioning, yeah, you can. It's now it's standing
There's
right
the
near.
pole.
Yeah, there she is. The Festivus pole is here, which I leave. The most ridiculous thing. A little plug for them, even though they charged me for it. We weren't important then. I understand. This is an aluminum pole, just like Frank Costanza says. There's a little cross section down here. You literally lay it over, make a little X, and you drop it on top, and it stands up there. It's 3 pieces. Rubber shoes. Well, you guys have all been in my office quite a few times. You the most. It's right behind the door. It sits there all year. And I was a little late this year. I would normally put it out a little bit earlier, but I didn't put it out until this morning. And now I've pulled it in to be on the show. So it got its one day for 2024, the Festivus poll. And if you're interested in a Festivus poll, and I know you are, there's a sticker at the top that says available from www.festivuspolls.com. You can have your very own. I don't remember what I paid for it. I probably don't want to remember what I paid for it. But there it is. Let me throw that back on the thing.
Add 20% for now. For inflation.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. I'm sure it's now you can see it. Now it's in the frame. Yeah. So you got rubber shoes, you got me. Just heard from Scotty. Precarious events at his house. His propane has shut off, and he heats the entire Duquette domain with propane. So he's dealing with some guy who's probably going to show up and maybe get it fixed. Hopefully he gets it fixed because it's cold where he is. It's cold where I am. It's cold where you are. Most of northern New England is fighting to hang around 20 degrees right now, which will be interesting. When I got in the car this morning, rubber shoes, at about 6:30 this morning, it was 0. And I was like, how dare you? So
it was I think 6 when I went to the gym this morning.
Yeah, tis brisk. So we are without Scotty. He's repairing the propane, fixing the heat.
Is that a 72-inch aluminum Festivus pole? Is it 6 feet tall?
That would be my guess. 1,000%. Yeah, because I'm 5'9" and it's taller.
I see one for $65 on here.
Is it on their website? Did you go to their website? Festivuspolls.com?
Oh, I didn't go Festivus.
Yeah. Festivuspolls.com. They're in Wisconsin. American made. Also, way back when, Jennifer had got one from my dad. Since he passed away, she's got that at her house now. And then as a tradition, and we went yesterday, Jennifer gets little tiny Festivus poles. So when we decorate my dad's grave at Christmas, we put one on there. Yeah. And a pretty cool story. She mentioned she every year she just got this guy, I don't know, Etsy, wherever she buys them, and she'll order one. And the guy wrote to her. The guy finally reached out and said, "You order one of these every year. What's the deal?" And she's like, "Oh, we bring them down to my dad's grave, blah, blah, blah." So he sent her like a whole bag of them. So now we have a gross of these.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So she had to drive from Merrimack down to Bentley Lane to drop off the pole. So when I picked up my mom, we had the pole. So even Grandpa Lindsay has one, which is pretty cool. So Adam is fighting traffic in Connecticut, and Corey's in hair and makeup. So you're stuck with us again. The good news is Rubber Shoes isn't at the firehouse. I mean, bad news for the citizens of Lowell. You're always safer when he is there. But
I have my real mic.
we got away with it last week because it wasn't until after we finished the show that you got called.
Yep. As soon as we finished, and it was good. It was a car fire, so that. Oh no! We were there for a little bit. Yep.
Yikes! Yeah, you would not have been back. I joked with my mom. Cheryl's listening. She says hello. I joked with Cheryl. I said the next time it's just you and I, and you get called, I'll just go to the phones. We'll just open up the phone lines. Yep. And I'm just going to stretch until you get back. But anyway, so we are up against a little bit of a clock because of the holiday. I'm cramming in the show, and then I'm heading over to book club, affectionately known as book club. I've got the indoor league over at Pease, and we have a 6 o'clock tea time. So it's probably good that only your big mouth and my big mouth will be bloviating tonight because we'll be able to get around the horn. Let's start where everybody's waiting for us to start. Everybody's talking about this. Everyone's so excited. We have Buehler coming to the Red Sox. Tell me why I should be excited. Walker Buehler. I looked at the name. I'm like, this looks like a joke.
He won a Cy Young for the Dodgers. He's last season he was coming off his second Tommy John surgery. He had a mediocre season for his standards, but come postseason, he was one of the heroes for the Dodgers in the World Series pitching wise. So he has the ability, I think, having another offseason to rehab. He'll be good, possibly great for us. You know, he is 30, so it's he's older. But I mean, potential. We have the problem is we have a lot of potential as we've been doing the last few years. You know, they get these guys, you know, coming off surgeries, and hopefully we can, you know, catch lightning in a bottle. That's kind of what they're doing again this year. You figured Giolito's coming off surgery, Buehler's coming off surgery. I love having Buehler. We can see Buehler.
Yes, you know that's going to be huge. Yeah, they're going to throw that up on the big screen at Fenway for sure.
Yeah, we added an arm in the bullpen. We added another arm. We had 2 other guys already signed for the bullpen. So the pitching staff is looking well, but we haven't done anything anywhere else.
Yes, because Soto just got away, as Danny Ainge would say.
Yeah.
We were this close. Do you think, going back to that revisionist, you know, let's skate back to that for a second because your take on that. Do you think we were anywhere near the math in what the Mets did? I mean, just the mere conversation that the Mets outspent the Yankees.
Yeah. So what was the final total? Do you remember? Was it 700?
No, he was in the 6s. I'll find it.
It was still in the 6s. So, I mean, everything I've read and heard, they were there right to the end. And basically,
I apologize. 15 years, 765.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So maybe the final bid I know they were up to 660, according to rumors. So I mean, it seems like they were in it to really go after him.
So I guess that begs the question, and then we'll get off the Red Sox as soon as we can because I want to. Who's the prized possession next year then? Who's the big free agent in the winter of 25?
No idea.
Okay. I mean, if they were considering spending, and he's a different guy, I get that, but they're willing now to go near $700 million in 15 years.
Yeah.
So, and the market's going to move.
Yeah.
Like when are we going to get to, and it seems ridiculous, but it's going to happen, and the money will move more than the years. But when do we get to the $900 million 17-year deal?
I know. It's crazy.
It's probably coming.
As long as the revenue's coming in, which is, it's got to be all TV money and merchandising, because watching other ballparks, like we've had it bad the last couple of years because they finally, you know, people stopped going because they're like, why are we going to go for this product?
Right.
Around the league, even the good teams, you watch the regular season, they're not selling out. Like the Braves were, you know, in it all the way to the end. You know, last year they lost in the NLCS, and then this year they just, but during the regular season they're not selling out. The Florida teams aren't selling out. Actually, I think watching the playoff games in Cleveland, they weren't sold out.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not the people going to the games.
Right. And the running joke for years, like, I mean, you would watch the Texas Rangers. Not so much the Rangers. I apologize. The Braves. It would be the Braves.
Oh yeah.
Because the Braves are perennial visitors to the postseason, but in the opening round, nobody's ever at their park.
Right.
And now here's the thing, and this is fascinating, and I appreciate the product, but at the same time, if your kid wants to go, There's so many people that were dying to get in. I was very fortunate to have a good run. I was on the waiting list before all the important people showed up, and then was lucky enough to get my official season tickets the year that Gillette opens up, and held on to them until 14 or so, like probably a good 13 years. And then it just got to a point where that was just interfering with Aiden and football and all that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. So we stopped. All the people that were like, I really wanted to go, and they've been on the waiting list. And Scotty, ironically, and it's got to be moving faster, Scotty's still technically on the waiting list. He's still waiting for the tap on the shoulder. And he's in a good spot because he's going to get in. He's going to get a choice of probably some good seats. I think a lot of season tickets are still intact and people just aren't going. Yeah. And I completely understand. My question is, the numbers are so paltry. You've got some people, and this weekend, this coming weekend, we'll be back at home, right?
Yeah, last two games are at home.
Last two are at home. So it'll be interesting to see, even with the frigid numbers, how bad the attendance is, because you can get them. I mean, I know you can get 35, 45, like sub $100 seats right now, and take the family. Which goes right back to my whole thing with terrible fans. Like, people are like, oh, I'm dying to go to a game, but you just can't get in, or it's too expensive. Well, now it's not. So where is the great fan base? Where are the pink hats now is the question. And, that'll turn, because the product will improve, because it needs to improve, because it's under so much scrutiny. They're under a lot of scrutiny. Do you think the Patriots get more scrutiny than any other sport in our city? And is that partly because there's 164 hours to debate the 4 hours you just watched? Yeah. Right?
I mean, the Red Sox get killed. To me, this is still, even though, with Brady and stuff, Patriots moved to the front, but I think it's, as far as where they are competitive wise, Red Sox fell down. I think there's still a hardcore base of Red Sox fans, and now they're getting killed. And if they don't do anything, if they just do what they've done, and don't add some bats to this lineup, they're gonna get killed again. At least you can, with the Patriot. Yeah, that's one thing. You have a whole week to bitch about them during the season. Things look like you got a quarterback. So I think the overall fan base can be patient.
The top of the game
through this season.
Yep.
I mean, next year, if they pull the same thing they're pulling this year and last year, next year, they're gonna get their asses kicked by everyone, fans, media, everyone.
Yep.
So everyone knows they're way under the salary cap, so they have money to spend to bring people in and fix. You can fix this pretty quick.
Yeah.
If they want to.
And what you just said, which is really funny, I know you're talking about the Patriots, but you could be talking about the Red Sox.
Oh yeah, same. It's the same. They're both going through the same thing. Yep. It's almost like they won too much, these owners, and now they're like, and and Kraft's situation, he never really spent a lot anyway with Brady there, because he was able to bring in less players. And Brady made him good.
It was like a subculture in the NFL that nobody else was doing, and you found a unicorn in Brady, who at the time happened to be married to somebody who was making more money than him. She woke up and shot a video of her putting on a bathrobe. She made more money than him, honestly, like per salary. He made all of his money outside of it. It's fascinating that the Red Sox, and I know you can't create another Soto deal, but do something. Like, are they pounding the phones talking about trades or anything like that? And it doesn't feel as if they are. I think They wanted to. They got their name in the running for the Soto thing. The winter meetings hit, and now we're just here. And I guess this is it. This is gonna be status quo.
I mean,
we're gonna add a few pieces here and there, and that's it.
Corbin Burns still hasn't been signed, and I would like to get a pitcher that we know is going to be good instead of, well, he's coming off an injury.
I feel like everybody we sign he's coming off Tommy John, but he's going to be great.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Oh, okay. That's not going to sell tickets. And that's where the Red Sox luck out, because it's and this is me being attached to it emotionally. It's a beautiful ballpark. They're more of Red Sox are more of a social event. They're all social events. But going to Fenway, sitting in the night air, if the night is right, having a couple of cocktainis, who cares if they win or lose? You're there with your friends.
It drives me nuts.
What?
So many times I've been to games where the people sitting in front of me are like head in their phones the whole game. It's like, why did you come?
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are the people that made the prices what they are now.
Yeah, absolutely jammed it up. And with all that extra money, we're not spending.
Yeah.
Yay, Red Sox. Are the Bruins fixable? What are we doing?
They seem to be trending in the right direction right now. They're playing better. That West Coast trip, they got shellacked in 2 of the games, but they ended up winning 5 points out of the 10 possible points. So
what was it? 13-2 over 2 games. It was 8-1, 5-1. Yeah,
but they finished good. Although the third period against Edmonton was bad, so that was the last. But they played well. Saturday night, I believe it was. I'm getting off. I had a cold starting on Wednesday, and over the weekend I was in Dayquil fog. So I'm trying to a couple things today. I said to Steph, she's like, "Wow, you don't remember doing it?" I'm like, "I did that." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm like medicine fog." So
all hopped up.
So I know I watched some. Well, actually, it was the trifecta that night. The Bruins were on, the Celtics were on, and then college football was on, and pro NFL was on. So yeah, I was not happy about that.
That was a quad factor. Yeah,
and we got the Bruins and Celtics tonight again.
Always, they do it for you. They do it just for you.
I tell you, I swear, since I've been bitching about it on this show, it's gotten worse.
Yeah, they're listening.
It feels like it.
You said it the other day. We're the center of the universe. Everybody's watching.
Yep.
Too funny. Speaking of college football, because they're at least coming off the weekend, dominating the headlines. Congratulations, as much as it kills me. Yeah, congratulations. Go Georgia. Anyway, there she is. There she is.
Yeah, all the home teams won pretty convincingly this weekend.
Yeah, and it was, I was rooting for dogs across the board just to make it fun, and really disappointed with how bad Kevin Jennings played for SMU. That was terrible. And even more so, and I wasn't even thinking this, I was just watching them lose. I'm like, this is not great. And I had it on the phone because we were going to the BC SMU basketball game. Then we weren't going. Then I flipped the tickets out to you guys. Scotty took them. And then 2 days later, we were going again. So actually, Scotty was sitting in the seats that I'd gotten originally. We sat on the other side. And I have to tell you, I was hoping Scotty would be here. Scotty brings Logan, Nathan, and Ava. And he was up and down in his boot, by the way. And I always go back row because you got something to lean up against because the seats in Conti are all just benches, just like alumni. So I always go back row, and he's back row over there, and we're like 50-yard line on the other side. Back row, up against the brick wall. And and every time I looked up, dude, he was missing. And so, well, I shouldn't say that.
So the kids had a good time.
80% of the time I looked up. Nathan and Logan stayed put. Ava was out shopping, ladies' room, going out to smoke a cigarette. I don't know. She was all over the place. And 80% of the time when I looked up, Scotty wasn't there, and I would either catch him coming back up the stairs, going down the stairs, or he was just MIA. It was so funny. I said to him after the game, because they came down, they waited for us. We had to walk around because exit that way back to the garage. And I said, dude, you got back on defense more than our boys. Like I needed, we should have had him out there in the boot. He would have moved quicker than we did. Things you don't normally see, and I won't bother you with BC basketball. Things you don't normally see in basketball at the collegiate level, William, is 100. And they laid a triple burger on us. It was just the defense non-existent. It was just terrible. I mean, I'm glad we went because we always try to get to a basketball game. We're going to a hockey game after Bubba goes back to school, so it'll just be the three of us. But
you don't have the season tickets again?
I let basketball go a couple of years ago when Bubba started school because it just so many of the games are 9 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
dude, you know where I am 9 o'clock on a Tuesday. I'm falling asleep watching the second period of the Bruins.
Same place I am.
I'm sleepy nights. Because Francis, we're walking in. Francis is like, yeah, why haven't we been going to games? I turned around, I'm like, dude, we dropped the seasons a couple years ago when your brother started school. He goes, oh, I guess so. I'm like, dude, if we hit Mega Chicken or Powerball, we'll get all the tickets. Because then your mother and I don't have to get up and go to work. But until then, there's too many school night games. I can't do it. And based on what I saw Saturday at 12 noon, so it was sort of funny because we're watching SMU beat the hell out of us. And meanwhile, they were losing to Penn State hard. What I wasn't ready for, and I'll give him credit because he was on the dais on college football a couple of weeks ago and he's standing on business. I think Shane Gillis called him Alabama Jones because he had the hat on. It was pretty funny. Like, all the Bama people came out of left field and they're just like, see, it should have been us.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been SMU.
I know Kirk Herbstreit went on a rant saying Alabama definitely should have been there instead of them.
Oh, it would have been a different game. 4,000% would have been a different game. That was tough to watch, and that's challenging. So now our only hope, because Texas took care of Clemson, right? Like it was home teams across the board. Yeah, Texas took care of Clemson. Our only hope now, because the new Orange Bowl, if you're paying attention, right? The Orange Bowl used to be if you won the conference but didn't go to the Final Four, now the top 12, you went to the Orange Bowl to play an SEC team.
So now it's a playoff game. That's
now going to always be a playoff game. So the new person who doesn't go to the playoff, who is the best team who doesn't go to the playoff for the ACC, now goes to the Pop-Tart Bowl, which is a fat kid. Is very exciting for me.
So that was, how many, were there 2 ACC teams that made it? Clemson and SMU was there third.
That's it. Clemson, SMU,
that's right.
That's it. And they both got eliminated. So they're both
Miami.
out. So our only hope now is that Miami plays well in the Pop-Tart Bowl, which last year was the first year for the Pop-Tart Bowl. I immediately fell in love because the mascot's amazing. And last year, I don't think it was the case, but they've got like a demo trophy they keep showing off at all the pressers. Have you seen it?
No.
It's got a toaster built into it. They've got a functioning toaster baked into it, pun intended. Really funny. And then just the mascot's hysterical. They call him Strawberry because he's a frosted Pop-Tart with a strawberry mouth. And the thing they did last year, I was showing somebody at the office today, when Kansas State beat whoever they beat last year, they do the trophy presentation. The MVP trophy is a box of Pop-Tarts. The trophy is a big football with a Pop-Tart on it. And then they bring out the big stage, which is a huge toaster. The Pop-Tart mascot climbs up on top, and then he disappears into it. And then a real-life Pop-Tart comes out toasted for all the kids to win to celebrate.
Yeah.
So that's in Orlando. Janina's like, we'll definitely go. I'm like, if BC goes to the Pop-Tart Bowl, we're definitely going. 4,000%. I like the way this is working out. I love the 12 teams. I love that it's going to be January 1st, knocks it down to 4. Like this is, they did a good job. And I don't think people bitching about SMU. I get it. And it could have been Bama. You could argue now it should have been Bama if you want a Monday morning quarterback it. Sure. There's always going to be parity. There's always going to be a gap between, even the wild card teams and then the people that were divisional leaders, as it were, and then what if SMU got lucky against Penn State, and then advanced. They got Oregon next. I think Penn State has Oregon. I think they do.
No, I think Ohio State does.
Oh, Ohio State has Oregon. You're right. All right. But still, just to advance to that kind of game, they might get smacked. So I don't know. They'll figure it out. They'll take what they learned this year and probably make some adjustments next year. Should be interesting. But it was a good weekend of football. I love that it started on Friday. I hate, and I know we talked about this and we'll keep talking about it.
Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Arizona State.
Yep. Okay.
Georgia, Notre Dame, and Boise State and Penn State.
Boise State, Penn State. Okay. Yeah,
So is one of the? I know Notre Dame's playing in the Sugar Bowl. Is one of them playing in the Rose Bowl? Do you know?
Oh, these 4 games coming up?
Yeah.
Yeah, because at some point, it's like they have to be. Oh, like the actual game is being played in the Rose Bowl, or are they calling it the Rose Bowl? What are you asking?
No, they calling it the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I think they must
Let's
be,
see.
because all of those have sponsors attached to them.
Yep. It's
right?
Oregon versus Ohio State in the Rose Bowl on January 1st at 5:00.
And that makes perfect sense because that used to be Pac-10, Big Ten anyway.
Yeah. So the four major bowls. So Orange, Sugar, Rose, and probably the Tostito Fiesta Bowl.
Fiesta, right?
Fiesta Bowl.
Yep. And then they're just going to call it the semi, I suppose, after that. The semis and then the final, right?
So I wonder where they have the semifinals at. I'm sure it's already booked somewhere.
Because the final's back. Is it final in New Orleans?
I haven't looked that far.
I feel like they said Mercedes, but
isn't Mercedes Atlanta also?
Yeah, because there's the Mercedes Stadium and Mercedes Dome. Yeah. I don't know. All right, we'll find out. Zero research. Why start now? That's
should be a good day of football on the first. That's for sure.
It's gonna be fantastic. I love the 12-team thing. And honestly, for we've talked about this a million times. Like we're never gonna. Chestnut Hill University is never going to be in the. Could we make the 12? Sure. Eventually, maybe. Sure. But like the Pop-Tart Bowl is like, that's our dream now. Like I was joking, but like that's probably the best game we'll get to is the Pop-Tart Bowl, which is sort
I'd like to see them expand to 16 and nobody gets a bye.
It wouldn't take much more. It would just.
Because it's like, why does Arizona
more games?
Why does Arizona State have a bye? Just because they won their conference.
Right.
It's like that. They're like ranked probably in the teens.
Yep.
And same with Boise State.
Yeah, before 4 more games.
Yeah,
so you'd have
2 more, just 2 more games.
No, you got 4 buys, and you're bringing 4 more teams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 4 more games.
Oh, 4 more games.
So you'd make, I think you'd make it. Friday, two games on Friday.
If you have a Sweet 16 and you can do a bracket, how many people are going to be gambling on that?
They'll figure it out. They'll move to 16. Yeah, from your lips to God's ears. I'm sure they'll move to 16 soon.
I mean, it's just more money. They're just making more money on the
right.
And the first round they did it. It was the home team home at their stadium, so it's not like they have to figure out bowl stadiums.
Right. Yeah, and I love that too. That concept was really cool. Like hosting a playoff game was
that was
super cool.
Awesome seeing. I mean, that was probably the biggest game played at Notre Dame Stadium since like 1990 when they played Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miami and Notre Dame were ranked 1 and 2 back then.
Yep. Pretty cool. Celtics.
But Indiana didn't look like they belonged there either. So now
No. I love that you
I'm
brought
still
that up
worried
before.
because I don't know if Notre Dame's good or not, because I feel like,
Or was that a paper tiger?
yeah,
Like Boston College with Florida State on Labor Day.
yeah, right.
I don't.
Because their strength of schedule was really bad. The only good team that Indiana played before Notre Dame was Ohio State, and they lost. That was their one loss against Ohio State. The rest, they were kind of. I think that coach, they were
Cignetti.
telling a story about that. Said he saw their schedule for the season. He said, "I think I can make that a 10-win season," because he knew it was really easy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he did it. He got what he went there for. Now
and
try and bring it back next year.
Yeah, I love his confidence. I think everyone should be that confident, but when he, his whole thing and a lot of his pressers, and it started mid-season, somebody said something to the extent of, I heard somebody ask that they didn't know who you were, and he said, "Look me up, Google me, I win." And that became his thing, Google me, I win. For him to say the other day, on the dais, in a crowded stadium, we don't beat ranked teams, we beat the shit out of them. I'm like, that probably got back.
Yeah, he lost to two ranked teams.
Yeah, even with a 7-second delay, like that must have got back to the Notre Dame like it must have got back to their locker room so fast. And it's just like, dude, you're like, and then Saban commented on it. And I love that. Apparently, they're just letting shit go on ESPN now.
What was that?
It's on all the time. Like, Coach said it. He goes. He talks a lot. He talks a shit. He talks shit a lot. Like,
what was that? What's that comedian's name that was there? That was from Notre Dame.
Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
Before he sat at the desk with Saban, he said that he's like, "Oh yeah, now we can legally pay players like Alabama's been doing for years, right, Coach Saban?" And then Saban was uncomfortable because they were grilling him. He's like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "I'm just saying what happens." Like, "Oh, we proved by just bringing in players and training them and getting them to be the best."
Yep. He was pretty funny.
Yeah, there was no money involved. Right.
Shane Gillis was funny. And then Shane Gillis was up in somebody's skybox, and the camera would go to Shane Gillis, and then it would go down to some IU fans. So they started doing the boo. Boo. He's so funny. Because when I saw him and he was all dolled up in ND stuff, and I'm like, no, he went to West Point. Like he went to West Point. Admittedly, he tells the story all the time when he's on podcasts. He went to West Point for about 7 weeks, maybe less, and then he pieced out. And I forget where. I think he finished at Elon is where he finished his degree. But yeah, I saw him. I'm like, oh, the crowd's gonna love him because he's just funny as hell. He's funny as I love Shane Gillis. He's so funny. Oh my goodness. Where are we at with the Celtics? How are we doing? You feeling good?
Yeah, it's
what's up?
So I was talking with Joey earlier today.
Yeah,
he's like, I think they just get bored. They're better than every team out there, and like that loss against Chicago last week, and then they destroyed them the next game against them.
Yep.
So it's like, but also they're in the game they lost, they shot a ton of 3-pointers. They didn't go in. And that's what can happen if you live and die by the 3 ball. That's what's gonna happen.
What was the stat I heard? How many the other night they took an inordinate amount of threes.
Yeah, I think that was the first game against the Bulls. It was like 60 or something like that.
It was like they were. Yeah, I heard some.
And they only hit like 18, I think.
Yeah, they were. I think they were 15 for 56 at one point.
Yeah,
and I was like, "What are we?"
Yeah.
But I appreciate you saying that. I think back to 1,000 years ago when my dad was at school at BC, and they would just be walking around, and this is like Bob Cousy time, right? Like this is everyone's on the team at this point, and they'd be walking around campus trying to give out Celtics tickets to the kids, and nobody wanted to go because it was boring.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to sit there and they're going to score 1,000 points and win another championship. And like nobody was interested. And it's almost like the team sort of has that stink on them right now. Just like, you know, we're going to win. I mean, that night shooting that many threes is living proof that they're just like, we're not really worried about it. How's Porzingis? His ankle is tuned up a little bit, right? He's okay?
It was his heel.
And
yeah, I didn't see any signs of him having any problems the other night. Actually, he played back-to-back games, not back-to-back nights, but back-to-back games. Yeah, they had, 4 games in between, but they had to play another night that the Bruins were playing,
Do you think who's the biggest challenge right now? Is it Cleveland? I feel like we struggled with them. Is that a real thing or no?
I mean, I think it's they're going to beat themselves or it's injuries. I really don't think that there's anyone. There's no one on the level. It's deep. I mean, Pritchard has raised his game. He's our. He has more threes than I think. So this was a week ago. I don't know what it is right now, but last week he had the second most 3 points made in the league behind only Anthony Edwards.
Oh, wow.
Coming off the bench.
Wow.
He's the leading bench scorer by far. It's like, I mean, if he just stays on pace, he should win the 6th man at this point. I think the other people that we were talking about last week have kind of fallen off.
Yep. When does he re-up? When do they need to re-up him? When is his contract up?
Well, they just signed him.
Was it the offseason?
I believe it was this offseason.
Huh. All right.
Oh, no. Hauser was this offseason, last offseason. So I think they signed him 3 years or 4 years last offseason.
So we're good.
We're good for a couple years. I think
3 or 4 years.
Yeah, we got. I think everything. I think they had a 3-year window of everyone being together. They got, and that's including last year. So last year, this year, and next year, everyone signed, except for maybe Cornette might not be, but like the starting 5, White. I don't know who's White or Holiday. I don't know who's. But those, Tatum, Holiday, Brown, Porzingis, Horford, he may be the only one that he signed, but is he going to after every season, especially if they win again, is he going to retire?
Yep.
That was the questions after last year.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
You're all right. You need more drugs?
No, so I haven't taken anything since I woke up yesterday. Yeah.
No, good.
Because I always feel like it's like people ask you, "Oh, how do you feel?" I'm like, "Oh, I feel all right," but I don't know if it's the drugs that are making me feel all right, or if I want to know if I'm feeling better. And I'm way better. It's like a tickle in my throat at this point.
Yeah. It seems to be going around everywhere, which is horrifying. Especially right now, everybody's about to be
just
with their
hoping
families.
I didn't pass it on to the people in this house for Christmas Eve and Christmas.
Correct. Yep. Where are you guys gonna be? You guys host, right?
Nope. We're going to my brother's tomorrow night, and Saturday we're all by ourselves.
Perfect.
Because we're like, I have to work. Actually, we both have to work Thursday, so it's weird having it on the day it is. It's like you don't get the day before off, you don't get the day after off, so you get that one day off. And it's so I offered to my mother, like, we're not going to do a big dinner, but you can come over and have dinner with us if you want. Right. She's like, well, I'm going to see you Christmas Eve. She has to work also, the next day. So she's like,
Yep.
yeah, I'd like to kind of chill out and have the day off also.
Yep.
So it worked out for everyone. I think that we're just
Yep.
going to be able to chill out.
Yeah, we're home tomorrow. Then we'll be Chelmsford Wednesday, and then Thursday. Janina's company's closed all week. They just shut down, which is delicious. We're closed here Thursday, and then I'm just going to take Friday to have a 4-day weekend. So
where we work, I think a lot of companies closed for the week because there was like skeleton crew of people driving in this morning.
Yeah, pretty dead. Pretty dead. And I said to Janina, Friday, we had the winter meetings thing we do with all the golf guys here, the KGA thing. And we're driving back up. So we got a Sprinter van again. We met here. We drove down to 5 Iron and Government Center.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good. And we're leaving there. It's snowing. So we got street parking in downtown Boston, which was amazing for the van. We get in the van. We are in snow, driving back up Route 1 to go to Kowloon, do the Kowloon thing, get out of Kowloon to come back to the Portsmouth office, and the snow was terrible, like all the way up until you got to the Hampton Tolls.
Yeah, it was worse on the coast. Yeah,
it was terrible. But I was thinking as I was driving up, and then we went to BC basketball Saturday, so we're driving back down, and then yesterday the Cape got a ton. Like we had,
yesterday,
we had to uncover my dad's grave. Like it was a lot of snow.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I said to Janine on Saturday, I'm like, I think Rubber Shoes and I had done golfing. Like even Massachusetts got snow. Like usually we get it up here, but down there you don't. But it looks like it's stuck and it's holding because it's cold.
Depends how. I know it's supposed to warm up like Monday into the 40s. So maybe we get a thaw.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, we touched on it a little bit, but they looked good yesterday. The offense looked good yesterday.
Yep. Defense too. I mean, they held them in check the first half.
Around, the top of the game, they looked good. Yes, the top of the game, they looked good.
So I think that means Mayo's probably coming back next year.
Just because they had that decent of a game against the Bills at the Bills.
Yeah.
I still think that's madness. Because all the tea leaves say that, Vrabel would be interested. McDaniel would be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know, just because it just like that. I thought that when you saying that, like yesterday, I'm like, oh my God, they're playing good enough to save his job. But I'm glad they're playing bad enough to lose the game, because I was just like,
yes,
I need you guys to play really well and still lose.
Yep. That was a perfect game.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Yep. Because they played
well. Because the Raiders screwed it up. The Raiders won, so they dropped down to 6. The Patriots are now picking second.
We got 2 now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we need to stay focused and just figure it out and hold on to 2. Hold on to 2.
I mean, I don't see the Giants winning a game, so we could just lose out and stay at 2.
Oh my God, the fact that we're at 2 now.
Yeah.
So does that change what we would do with that pick? And based on no intel whatsoever, because that's how I function, I think we're going to go tackle first. I think the wide receiver comes in the free agent. I mean, they'll grab wide receivers in the draft, but I think the T. Higgins is going to be what they go after, maybe, unless somebody else frees up or becomes available.
I'm not a big college football. Like I watch pretty much Notre Dame and that's it. So I don't know.
I didn't realize
who the hot, picks are for the most part, other than Shador and Hunter.
Yep.
What I've heard is there isn't a stud left tackle worth picking that high. So do you get mad if they trade out and, maybe get a couple picks? Maybe they get someone's, get the 10th pick and their second round pick also, or something like that. Jeepers, curl. But then the combine happens, and someone could stand out. But I mean, right now it's but they're saying like Tyler's been in on it a lot. He says that Cam Ward might go first over Shador.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because then people would be wanting to talk to us to trade up to get Shador.
Yeah.
Because we're not taking him. We got the Drake.
I mean, if you could slide back a couple, and as long as they do something other than the draft, like you said, bring in T. Higgins or I mean, who knows? Maybe Cincinnati, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are both up. Their contracts are both up, and I mean, maybe you dazzle Jamar and steal him away from them.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I think he's too connected to Joe though.
Yeah. But money
Just
money
the
talks.
LSU. Yeah. Oh my God, that would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. Interesting.
I wouldn't hate it if they got a good return. Like not just swap first round picks, okay, and they throw in like a second or a third. No.
Right.
I would want like a Herschel Walker deal. Something close to that,
Yep. Who's this weekend?
Chargers.
So
they got Chargers and Bills again to end the season.
Yeah, we wrap with the Bills at home. Okay.
Chargers on Saturday. It's a Saturday, I think. 1 o'clock game on Saturday.
Interesting. All right. So what do you got? What's your pick?
I'm gonna give them a little more credit than I did last week. Hopefully they keep rolling with the looking good but just lose. Like, the Danny Ainge of a game.
Yeah.
We were in it to the end, but we just lost out.
We were right there until we weren't. So right now Chargers are giving 2.5.
Okay, so that's usually it's 3 points for home advantage. So they're saying that Chargers can win by 5 in a neutral field.
Over under is 42.
I will say the Patriots cover.
Oh.
20. So it's 2.5.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, they won't cover. I'm gonna say 24-17. 24-20.
Oh, Chargers. I like that. I'm thinking 24-21.
Yeah.
Chargers take it 24-21. And then all we have to do is lose at home to the Bills and hold on to 2. And the Giants, admittedly.
Do you hold your breath every time he rolls out and starts running?
'Cause he's wiry. Yeah, I mean a little bit. And I get squeamish anytime I see anybody getting tackled these days because
Hurts so many. Went down this weekend.
Hurts went down. His name escapes me. The kid from the Texans got his knee snapped.
Oh,
watching these kids get tackled, I'm always like, you sort of forget how friggin' strong they are. But when he rolls out,
what is it? These didn't happen as frequently as they do now.
What, the concussions?
Concussions are. I mean, it's like concussions happen just. Hitting your head against something you're getting a concussion.
Sure, yep.
But the knockouts where people are getting knocked out all the time and these horrific injuries. I mean, growing up, we had the Theismann injury. That was like it.
Yep.
That
honestly,
we had.
You're right.
That was gruesome. And then, Alex Smith happened. And now it's like, this seems like there's some really bad ones every season.
I think it's the speed of the game, and I'm not saying that guys weren't, doing smelling salts and whatever they might have been doing in the locker room ages ago to get all zooted up. But you've got linebackers and maybe some safeties out there packing some zins. I think they're so topped off, and the speed of the game and the athleticism we've never seen
And the
athletes
size, they're so much bigger too.
so well tuned up. And with all the advancements they're making with the helmets, they've also they're the best version of the helmet that we've ever had. All versions of the helmet are the safest they've ever been.
Invincible.
But yeah, I think they feel more invincible than they've ever felt. And I think so many of the spearing calls or targeting calls, the guys are doing their best. It's they'll review it and it's all shoulder, and they're, I mean, outside of a guy that's like directly taking the 2 steps, like they said, if you're taking 2 steps and then hitting the quarterback after the ball's out, you're an idiot. But even on the close contact, somebody made a great point the other day about Mahomes, and he's awesome. And there's a lot of quarterbacks like him. Josh is the same way because he's all over the pocket, and Drake is growing into that. You've got these quarterbacks that you can't trust. This sounds horrible to say, but you can't trust Patrick Mahomes to start to skate down the sideline and actually go out.
Right.
Because he smoked them
he knows
3
that
weeks
they
ago.
can't hit. Yeah.
3 weeks ago, he played that, and they all pulled up, and he kept going. And it was like the Kenny Pickett thing in college. It was college. It was when he was still with Pitt. Kenny Pickett, who now went in yesterday for Hurts, had that fake slide when he was at Pitt. Yeah. And then they had to institute a rule in the offseason. So there's a million combinations to it, but I would argue the kids
gotta, if the quarterback starts to show that he's given himself up, he's down right there. Like, because these guys are gonna keep hitting them. If the more that it happens that they fake him out, the more that it's gonna happen that they're gonna try and take him out.
Yep. And when they're down that low, you're now taking out, like, he can no longer hit him in the waist. He's never going to get low enough to actually hit him in the torso because he's sliding now. Yeah, he's butt up, and this becomes the center of gravity. This is like the center mark for all these guys coming in. So, yeah, it's a little bit insane. You say 24-20?
Yeah,
I say 24-21. Everybody else is in hair and makeup, so we'll get back to them on the other side.
Scotty Duke said 34-10 Patriots.
Did he really? Are you making that up? Okay. He's probably standing over his propane tank right now, hoping that it turns on. Yeah. And I would agree with him because it's brisk out. For Scotty and Adam and Corey, all stuck in hair and makeup, Rubber Shoes and I and the crew, because I think we're going to have a ton of people next week. We're back for 4:30 next Monday as we do another holiday edition. But for the Festivus show, that's it. Our dear friends Joe and Leslie at AAA Work Trucks. And, of course, there's the shirt, Festivus for the rest of us. Brought to you by AAA Work Trucks. So Joe and Leslie, what are they doing for the holiday? Do you get invited over? You're like family, Rubber Shoes. Why aren't you?
No.
They don't invite you over for steak tips? Oh, when's the holiday party? That already happened, right?
Oh, January 10th.
Oh, I can't wait because you're bringing 7 foot's got to go, right?
Yeah. So the whole family go.
I love this.
He might have to duck.
He might have to stay out in the hallway. He might have to stay out in the hallway. We'll be back at it next week, 4:30 next Monday for the New Year's Eve show. From all of us to all of you for Festivus and Christmas. Hanukkah starts Wednesday at sundown. Whatever you're celebrating, happy holidays. We'd love for you to subscribe and share and comment and like, and you can do all that at atbshow.com. Take care.